We're going to kick off the introductions here to everyone in the chat. I'm Patrick. I'm the Emerging Channels lead here at Perpetua. I'm joined by two experts in the retail-aware new world of advertising and Amazon. So we have Mansour, who's the director of Amazon advertising at Incrementum Digital, a really great partner of ours for a number of years now. I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and if you could give me what you're most excited for about the new world of retail-aware data and how that's going to affect brands on Amazon, just high level, real quick.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Mansour. I'm the director of Amazon advertising at Incrementum Digital, as Patrick mentioned. Well, what I'm excited about is I'm seeing more and more platforms coming up with this market share and market intelligence that it can help you to kind of analyze your market, your category, get more insight to your competitors and your product performance to understand where you are standing and what is the trend of the market compared to that trend of the market, where your brand and product is standing, because it's a better, it gives you a better understanding of how you are growing. We will gonna discuss about this topic even in this slide as well, but checking our market share is a better evaluation to see how you are growing instead of looking at your sales or maybe other KPIs.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely going to jump into it more, but also joined by Franz, who's GM and Vice President here at Perpetua, on from the Selex acquisition. I'll give you, 45 seconds to introduce yourself and maybe say one or two things that you're excited about for this upcoming webinar.
Sure. So hey everyone, excited to be here. I joined Perpetua through the Celex acquisition. I was previously one of the founders and CEO of Celex. And so now at Perpetua, I am in charge of building a new product that is called Prism, which is basically a market and competitive intelligence solution that should help advertisers to be more market aware, how I call it, with the advertising. I think overall the big trend that I see is that Amazon is becoming a lot more open with sharing data. When I think back about 2015, when I started in this industry, Amazon was very reluctant to share anything. They hardly shared any data about your own products, let alone anything about the shopper and competitors. And I think that this is changing now. I think that over the past year and a half or so, Amazon has become more open. I think the Search Query Performance report that we're going to talk a lot about today is the best example for it. I think it's a ton of valuable data that I personally never thought Amazon would ever share, but they did, and that's great because it unlocks a lot of use cases. And so I think I'm very excited about this future. I think really the past couple of years have been focused on making sense out of your own data, and I think the next couple of years will be about incorporating market and competitive data into your advertising strategy, but your Amazon strategy more holistically. So I think it's a really exciting future. And I think that today in the session, we'll talk a lot about specific examples, specific use cases on how you can do this.
Awesome. So with that said, I think we should jump into the presentation. To the attendees, if you have any questions that come up throughout the presentation, definitely don't hesitate to hit the Ask Speaker, and you'll be ready to go. First question, will this be recorded and shared later? I believe so, yes. So Mansour, we'll kick it off to you.
Sure. The hidden superpowers of search query data. If you guys, any one of you is following me, you know how obsessed I am with search query performance. And it is one of my most favorite features Amazon ever released. So in this session, we are going to go over what is search query performance, how we are going to extract data, how we are going to transform data, and finally, we will talk about analyzing and use cases. There will be a section we are going to go over questions and answering your questions if you have any. So what is search query performance? Search query dashboard lists the top customer searches that led customers to the brand's product. It includes overall query performance such as search query volume, impressions, clicks, add to carts, purchases, and it shows the total share of each of these metrics in the market level, your brand and product level. The reason we are excited about this is that we never had access to these information directly from Amazon. Yes, we had some estimation from third-party sellers, but now Amazon directly giving you all this data and telling you this is accurate data. It is unbelievable, and we are going to see the use cases. But coming from Amazon directly, it is very useful. You can see there are some other columns here as well. You can customize like brand price, 1-day shipping speed, 2-day shipping speed, but I have just highlighted the most important ones. Here we have a sample table from search query performance. This is in brand view. You can see that we have the search queries here. There is a search query score. We are going to talk about what it is. And for every single query, you have the search volume for the whole market for the time period that you have to find. You have the impressions, and it is interesting here. It shows you the total count of impression of the market versus your brand and what is your share of the market. You have the same thing for clicks, for cart ads, and for purchases. The purchases is not in the screenshot, but you can see for purchases as well. So it is impressive that you can see every single KPI that you need to understand how your brand doing and how your ASIN doing in the query level. Also, this click rate here is interesting as well. It shows you what is the total count divided by number of search volumes. So you can find high intent, low intent queries. You can see by the purchase as well what keywords are high intent, what keywords are low intent. Where you can find the search query performance, you could go to Seller Central. Under the brands menu, there's a search query performance here. Amazon just released a new dashboard, so you might see all the menus on the left side. Doesn't matter, just go to brand, and under brand analytics, you will be able to see the search query performance.
Mansoor, just a quick question here. So this is available to everyone who has brand registry, right?
Everyone has brand registry should have access to this, yes.
Right. So
Sorry, go ahead.
And can you just share how this works for vendors? I know we have a couple of vendors in the audience as well.
I don't have any screenshot for vendors, and as far as I know, it is not available. I haven't seen this for vendors. Actually, we have a vendor account. I don't think I have seen this for vendors. So I'm not sure about that.
That checks out. I do think it's not available for vendors just yet, but maybe coming soon. You also mentioned that, in the past you used third-party tools. Have you had a chance to compare this data set to the third-party tools that you used in the past? And how did it compare in terms of accuracy?
Well, I checked just the search volume. I would say from few of like Helium 10, Jungle Scott, I saw that the search volume that you're seeing was around 10 to 20% off from those third-party sellers. I'm gonna a third-party platform, sorry, not the search volume though. We are gonna talk about the search volume. This is different from the one that I compared, and but when I compared, there was 10 to 20% difference.
So meaningful.
So let's start with search query score. The first column, when you log in, there's a search query score. It orders the queries from top performance to least performance. Amazon uses a combination of search funnel impressions, clicks, cart ads, and purchases of queries, and your own brand performance to compute a score for the queries and rank them. Well, to be honest, we don't know what Amazon is doing behind the scene to rank these queries. But from all the accounts that I have checked, they are spot on, and every single ASIN for brand level, for ASIN level, these queries are, when you check the rank, you see this keyword exactly, it's highly related. And as the rank goes down, they are becoming less relative to your product. But we don't know how Amazon exactly calculates this score. Next is the search query volume. And it is very crucial for everyone to understand what's happening about the search volume. The number of times this query was searched during the selected time period. Amazon includes all queries issued within a day. For example, if the same query is issued by the same customer session in a 24-hour period more than once, Amazon will include all of those instances in the total query volume. Also, clicking on the next page of search results will create search volume. So I want to get to actually to Amazon to explain this. Let's say I'm looking for a massage gun. So as a customer, now the search volume is counted as one. If I go back and come back here to search volume, so it doesn't matter I'm a unique customer, but this is being counted. If I go to this page, come back to here, I'm browsing as a customer. This is being counted because the page refreshed third search volume. So it is really important for you guys to understand that in a period of 24 hours, doesn't matter how many times the customer is searching, a unique customer is searching, it's going to be counted toward that search volume. And when initially Amazon released this report, actually they came up with the normalized search terms. It means per unique customer, they counted all the search terms as one. Unfortunately, they call it normalized search volume, but unfortunately, after 4 weeks, 5 weeks, they said, okay, we updated, we are going to give you a normalized search volume. I don't know why they did that, but we are hoping in the future there will be another column being added here as normalized search volume, so we can see that's going to show you that purchase behavior for customers, right? The journey of customers, that what is happening and how we can implement it from there.
I think the last sentence is really important, right? So initially also I thought, and back then when they first released it, it's actually the search volume, and I was just blown away that Amazon would release the plain search volume. But so this last sentence of clicking on the next page of search results will increase the count by one, basically. The way I look at it is this is more like the search impressions. So how often was a search result page shown, and not necessarily how often a user search for that specific keyword.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
It'd be interesting too if they did give you unique sessions, because then you could see if there was a big delta between volume and unique impressions. Is that a search term that people are going to page 2, page 3, page 4 to look at?
Well, actually,
we did
Patrick,
have
I had a blog post about this before Amazon changed to a normalized impression share. I stored for the same account that you see here. I had the normalized search volume for 6-7 weeks, and when this change was applied, I compared them. The search volume that now I was seeing in search query performance with the ones that I had from the unique searches. It for this ankle brace category was around 2.5x of unique searches per day. That was for this category. Of course, different categories are probably they are going to be different.
That's a cool stat. So it means people are shopping, like either clicking back, or checking out different pages. We did have one question from the crowd. Does Amazon offer definitions of these metrics within the report?
Yes, it offers the definition, and just a trick, when you go and check the definition, on the top right, there is something called see more detail. Click on that see more detail, otherwise you're not going to see the details that I'm covering here. You're not going to see that. So go to the definitions. There is a link on the top right, so you can see more in detail what each of these metrics are.
There's a metrics glossary, Casey. You can just click on it, and then you'll see definitions. And then when you're in the glossary, top right, that's the holy grail of insights.
Exactly. So let's go over the impressions, because this is where I see the confusions start kind of growing and people get confused. this is the most important part for you guys to understand where the search comes, where the impression comes, where the click comes to search query performance. So impressions originated from search result pages for the query, just from search result pages. It includes both organic and sponsored product, but excludes ASINs displayed in a widget such as editorial, recommendations, top rated, highly rated. It includes ASINs only from pages that are rendered irrespective of whatever the product is in the scrollable view or below the fold. So I'm going to go to Amazon again. So I'm searching, let's say I'm a new customer, I'm just searching for this product. All the impressions that you see is just generating from the search result pages, not from product detail pages. So if there's an impression, there's a click, there's a purchase that is originated from product detail pages, it is not in search query performance. The sponsored product and sponsored and organic order. So any impression, clicks on this sponsored brand is not in search query performance. Sometimes we see sponsored display on the site. Any impression, clicks, purchase through this are not going to be included in query performance. Then we had this highly rated. Amazon says highly rated and editorial, like the editorial, for example. This is not included toward that. Also, I'm not sure about this because highly rated used to be organic while back. Now this is a sponsored product. I can't confirm if this is included or not, but before that it was organic. Amazon says it's not included. So that is the first point. The sponsored brand, the sponsored display, and those widgets are not included. The second point, which is important, and this applies to Amazon PPC as well, that brings some confusion about CTR. As a customer, when I'm searching here, it doesn't matter if I scroll all the way down to the page or not. Every single product in this page got impression. I didn't go all the way down, but every single of them get impression. So that is really important for impression. You need to understand. And sometimes I see people referring to click-through rate in PPC about everything, and I believe that is totally wrong. And my opinion is this. If the sponsored product is on top, well, of course, the customer sees the ad, they click-through rate is high. But if the sponsored product is in the rest of the page, I don't know if the customer even saw the ad or not. That is why that click-through rate becomes it doesn't have any meaning. It becomes meaningless when it goes to the rest of the search. And also when you go to the second page, again, every single product in this page is starting getting the impression. That's about the impression. Also here, now let's go back to go over the funnel. Search query performance is the funnel from searching the product, getting impression on the product, clicking on a product which is on the search result page, till purchasing the same product. So if I click on this product, right, this product is going to get impression, going to get clicks. And if there is a variant here, we don't have variant. If I purchase this, it's going to be included in search result pages. If there is a variant here and the customer purchases the variant, that purchase is not included in the search query performance because the customer didn't purchase the same clicked product. That is another really, really important subject about this, because I see many people saying, oh, this data doesn't make sense. There's a huge difference between my sales in business report and what I see in search query performance. No, it is accurate. It's the matter of understanding how this kind of data is being reported. So if you have a variant, you have to understand that probably sales going to your variant. If you don't have variant, then this report becomes more accurate for your purchase, right? For clicks, it is 100% accurate. For purchase, it becomes more relative because you don't have variant. Or if the customers come here, purchase anything else, of course, that purchase won't be in the report. Is there any question about the impression? Because this is a really important part of understanding the report.
How do you reconcile with your clients when they do have variance?
Well, the thing is that it goes back to understanding your product, right? You might have a product with listing with variants that you have one bestseller variance. So you just go check it out, and behind the scene, when you are analyzing, you have to keep in mind that there is this situation. Maybe you are losing some share of purchase because of this reason, but impression share, click share is 100% accurate. Then it becomes to purchase and click share for a listing with variants. It is the matter of it is directional. You have to see the trends. You shouldn't say, oh, I'm getting this number of sales. No, it becomes meaningless. You just need, with the strategies that we are going to talk about, you need to see that trend going up overall. Otherwise, you shouldn't trust the exact number of sales unless you don't have a variant.
Yeah, I could. There's probably some, industries like CPG. If you sell like a food and you have a bunch of different variants, and someone searches chips, and then they're going and buying a bunch of different flavors. I can imagine it could be tough to be able to reconcile if there's large, cross-selling between your own products. We did have another question from George. Does the impression count only for the products in the first page? And once the customer clicks the second page, it's when those products in the second page count as an impression.
Any page that is being rendered gets impression. So to answer the question, on page 1, if I go click on page 2, this page is rendered. Every single product gets impression. That is for PPC, that is for search query performance, that's how impression works. I'm not scrolling, but all of the products on this page got impression.
So I just wanted to come back to this parent-child issue. Is it a way to just sum the numbers of all the child ASINs for an ASIN and then look at it on parent level? Is that feasible, or are there any issues with that?
Actually, that is feasible, but again, goes back to the fact that, like for instance, Patrick mentioned for the color variants, for flavor variants, they click and they go purchase, they look at the variants and they purchase another variant, right? Still, you're gonna have orders that you don't see in search query performance. And in my opinion, it doesn't matter because, as I mentioned, impression clicks are exact, but when it goes to purchase, you just want to see what that trend is. You just want to see when you are doing all these strategies, how it is moving and what is the direction that it is moving. And also when you are looking over time, week over week over week, kind of it's a statistic, right? Always the percentage of people that come into your listing and purchase other product, it's not going to go all of a sudden change drastically. It should be constant. And then you see all of a sudden your trend is changing, going to different direction. It means something is happening to your listing or your strategy that you're working on. We are going to get into more examples about this. Cool. And another point, actually, Franz, about that. If you have because I mentioned we have 2 views, brand views, ASIN views. So if you have a listing with variants, instead of going to every single variant and getting the information, you can check from brand view if you have one listing that triggers a certain type of keywords, right? If you have 2 separate listings that targeting the same keywords, in brand view, you can't understand which impression goes to which listing. But if you have one listing triggering one certain keywords, you can go just simply look at the brand view instead of ASIN view. Okay, so let's move on to extracting data. As of now, unfortunately, Amazon doesn't provide us with any download feature. They mentioned that We are working on it since like the download is coming. But in brand view, we have the reporting range of weekly, monthly, quarterly, and you can choose that range from here. For brand view, Amazon gives you 1,000 queries for this level. As you can see here, 40 pages to view 25 rows. You can go to 100 here. In ASIN level, same reporting, Amazon gives you 100 queries per ASIN, which I think it is more than enough, because that's the rule of 80-20%, right? 80% of your sales coming from 20% of the keywords. 100 queries more than enough for you to understand what's happening for your product. As I mentioned, we can download that. So there is for Chrome this extension called Instant Data Scraper. You just use this, scrape the data, and easily you can copy the table to Google Sheet using this data scraper. Hopefully early 2023, Amazon comes up with this data that they are still working on. And then you transfer it to Google Sheets, and you will have all the data here. And then becomes the fact that, okay, you are getting all this data. How you should look at this data, because just dumping data in Google Sheet is not going to help you. What you could do is that you can go as far back as you want for different weeks. Usually, I personally check this on a weekly basis for some accounts. If you want, you can download on a monthly basis. This is up to you, but go as far back as you want. Add the related week or month numbers, because when you download the data, Amazon doesn't give you what month or what week is. Add to your data that you input to Google Sheet and make a pivot table. When you make a pivot table, now easily you have week over week, month over month data here, and you can see what the trend is. For that purpose, I created a template. It is SUPA, which comes from Search Query Performance Analyzer. It is a tool that's going to help you easily import this data and get everything easily with graphs, with the trends, with so many things. You can dig deeper in the keyword level as well. We will. I think I'm going to give link to this one if you guys don't have it. And Perpetua, hopefully Patrick, you can email to anyone who joined this webinar. And there is a walkthrough video on how to create that. I'll send you guys both of them. Now, let's go to important part. Okay, sure, we have all this data from Amazon, but what should we do with that? And looking at these numbers can give you a headache, because there are too many things going on. Let's go over the use cases. The first one, pretty obvious, product ideas. It can give you idea for new product, bundling opportunities. And of course, your search term report can help you with that as well. But what is different about the search query performance is now you are seeing the search volume. You can see the trends, what is trending up, what is trending down. And also when you are seeing these search queries, they are related to your product. So with a client, we had a call. Actually, he was looking for a new design for an existing product. In 20 minutes, we were looking to the search query performance. He came up with an idea for a design for his product, because we see customers looking for. There are not that many products that offering that, and also the trend was kind of going up, which was good. This is a side note. Growth Opportunity Explorer is a great complement to do further research. In my personal opinion, there are two tools Amazon provides that is more than enough for product research. One is Growth Opportunity Explorer, super powerful. This by itself, I think it's 1 hour webinar, how important and how useful that tool is, plus Category Insight. These two tools, guys, if you're looking for product research, they give you really great information. Discovering new search terms. So what you can do, you can download these terms with SUPA template or with your own Google Sheet. Go over these queries that you see here. There's one difference here between this and search term report. in search term report, if you don't get click on any term, it's not going to appear in search term. If you get impression but no clicks, search term report won't show you that. But search query performance is not like that. Even if you are not getting any clicks, you will see the terms in search query performance. Go over all the search queries and see if there are terms that are related to your product and you are not targeting with your PPC campaigns.
The stream data is giving you keywords where you have impressions but no clicks. That's new for Stream. So those guys are using Stream. Perpetua users, you would have access to this as well. But that doesn't change the point that this is, I think, even more comprehensive.
All right. And I have one point here. Segment the keywords. I'm talking about the keywords that are related to your product based on the total market order. So far, and what we usually ourselves we do is that we segment the keyword for PPC campaigns for keywords based on the search volume. But the good news here is that in this report, Amazon gives you the total market orders. If you see here, ankle brace, for instance, this is the search volume, put this away. Amazon tells you that in this week, 8,104 orders generated from this keyword. So it shows you that how much of this, how many orders this term is generating. So instead of focusing on search query volume, segmenting based on search query volume, you can segment your keyword for PPC based on how much orders they are generating. Because at the end of the day, that is what matters, not how many times people are searching. And as I mentioned, Amazon is counting every single search. So at the end of the day, this order is really important. You can segment based on that. Apart from that, also you can find here what keywords are important for your products, for your brands. If you have related keywords with higher orders, it means they are priority for you to increase the market share if you have a limited budget. SEO optimization. The way you can look at it is that adding high relevant queries with low impression share to the title or bullet point. Why I say with low impression share? Low impression share means that you are not appearing on page one, or you are not appearing enough on page one, right? Because I mentioned that all the keywords, all the products on page one getting impression. So if your impression share is really low, it means you are not on page one. It means you are not getting good ranking. You are not getting good indexing. Go over these search queries, find the highly related keywords that you don't have either impression share or your impression share is really low. I don't want to get really detailed, but I realize that around 1.5%, if you are less than 1.5% impression share, it means you're not appearing on page one constantly. That's another story, and it depends to the category that you are looking at. But if your impression share is here pretty low, less than 2% for important keywords, make sure you add that to title, you add that to your bullet points or backend. And of course, we know title has the highest impact in terms of giving credit, indexing for ranking. If you can add it somewhere in the title, great, if that keyword is really important. If not, add just your listing to make sure that you're influencing that indexing.
We have a question here.
Sure.
If we have multiple ASINs that we have to use ASIN view level data in SQP to exclude brand halo effect. Exactly. We have multiple ASINs that we have to use ASIN level data in SQP to exclude brand halo effect. I'm not sure exactly what it's asking, but if you, I guess, use multiple ASINs in SQP, does it exclude the halo effect?
I don't know. It's not going to exclude halo effect because, as I mentioned, search query is the funnel from impression, click, purchase for the same product. I don't see how you can exclude that halo effect.
So I think it does exclude halo effect, meaning, other ASINs that aren't the ASIN that you're viewing, you won't get sales data in
Oh,
the
right.
data for the ASIN. So it does exclude your brand halo effect.
Oh, yeah. If that's the question, yes, 100%. You're just seeing for the same product.
Mohammed, let us know if that answers the question. If not, maybe rephrase it a little bit.
So next is find where your product was getting sales last year. Actually, this is a good use case as well. If you are getting, for instance, I'll give you one example. We are getting to December. You want to see your product in last December 2021, where it was getting sales. Now, Amazon gives you that data. The search query performance goes as far as, I think, 12 months or 13 months. So here you can see for this account, I was checking, okay, give me the monthly report for 2021 on December. So you can go to ASIN view and see the same product that now you are getting to this Q4, you are getting to December, where it was getting sales last year. Or you are on September, on August, you want to start preparing your product ranking toward Q4 and improving the ranking. Easily, you can go to Q4 of last year to find those keywords that you were getting sales and knowing, okay, these are the keywords I have to start pushing with PPC to make sure I'm ready, ranked well for Q4 to get those organic sales. And before the season usually is easier to rank because not that many people pushing before the season. So you have a good opportunity to improve your ranking to get to the season and get a great organic sales.
Did that lead to your best kind of Cyber 5 yet, or?
Well, we had some great results from Cyber 5. We had anywhere from 3x in sales to 10x in sales for some of our clients.
And you use this strategy leading up. You began kind of ranking on the keywords you saw last year were kind of
for
winner.
Some of the accounts, yes, that I was working for, yes.
Awesome.
And it depends if you have if you had the product in last period as well, right? If you don't have it, you're not going to get information about it for last year. Next is discovering search query opportunities to increase market share. So you can go over the keywords that are related and see where you are losing market share or where you don't have market share. When I'm talking about market share, guys, I'm talking about a few things. One is click share. The second is purchase share. We know purchase share, if you have variant, is not highly related, but the trend is important. So these two, click share and market share. I'll give you one example here. For instance, this ankle brace for women, it is a highly related keyword to my product. And I realized that our market share going down. Let me actually get back here. So for ankle brace for women, I realized that the market share is going down. Just understand these trends that you see. The left, it is vice versa. The left is the most recent data. But let's look at this. When I realized that this is week 34, I see my purchase share is 0, add to cart share 0.83, my click share is 2.03. I realized that we are losing market share. Created a campaign for top of the search. That was our strategy. We communicated with client that this is gonna what happened. So we have this campaign. We started in week 5. Now look at the results. For week 35, we can see our sales share went up to 2.65 from 0, and our click share from 2% all the way went up to 7.27%. Just by showing up, we were visible on the top half of the main page, but we weren't on top 4. So by pushing the product for top 4 on with PPC, all of a sudden we created this increasing click share that resulted in increasing in sales share to 2.64. And to my point, this product has 2 other variants. The purchases that generated through these clicks are absolutely more than what I see here, but at least I can see the trend that it went up, right? Otherwise, the sales share is more than this, because some customers purchase the large one or purchase the small anchored race through that. So that is why you might be asking, okay, you increase 7%, but all of a sudden your sales share is 2.6. Why there's that much difference? One reason is a variant. The other reason is maybe, yes, they just clicked and they didn't purchase.
Mansoor, is there a way for you to, like, I think it's fantastic what you did to turn it around. Is there a way for you to identify the reason why it dropped in the first place?
I don't remember. I think we had a change in the price. Our competitor increased the price. It decreased the price. We increased the price. Actually, I have it in the next slide. To somehow, to few weeks, it helped us. But after some period, since our direct competitor lowered the price, now we are not getting as many sales and market share as we were getting before, because our direct competitor getting more sales just because of the price.
Okay, and so that's not something that you can find out from a search query performance report. So the search query performance just tells you how you're doing relative to others. It doesn't tell you exactly what are the other players individually doing.
Search query performance can help you see the trend of what happened. It could give you some insights. I have a deep dive for keyword in the SUPA template. You can go to anchored race, and what I saw for this one, not for this keyword, for another keyword, I saw my impression share was constant for all the weeks, right? And I realized that my click share for a few weeks all of a sudden decreased drastically. And when I was checking my campaigns and on Amazon, I realized I was on top of search, but now for some reason, I'm not showing on top of search. So it gives you some signals that there is something going on with this keyword. Now you have to go check, maybe it is your placement, maybe it's your ranking, or maybe it's your competitor. That it brings me back to the product opportunity explorer. There are good insights there as well that it can give you some insight to spy in your competitor. But it is just kind of signal for you to understand what is happening.
Right. So it doesn't necessarily tell you the why. It tells you, hey, there's something going on.
Not necessarily tells you why. In some cases, it might. Because in some cases, it might. If your click share is going down, it is obvious that you are getting less clicks. Now, go back to basics. Why you are getting less clicks? There are few simple reasons. One, maybe your organic ranking dropped. The other reason can be if you're on top of search, you are not on top of search anymore. Third reason can be that there's a competitor that having a better offer than you, right? This is your judgment. You have to dig deeper. And there might be situation, your click share drops, your purchase share is not dropping. That is a good place to be. We will talk about this cannibalization as well. If your click share is dropping, well, I'll keep this for cannibalization slide because I want to kind of go over that there. But that can help you with cannibalization and understanding, do you even need to run PPC for this keyword or not?
Right.
Measuring the impact of A/B testing deals listing optimization and some other stuff. This slide might be a bit not complicated, but let's go over this. So here is our competitor. You can see our competitor on week 24 increased the price for a period of 1 week. And this is us. The price was constant. We didn't change anything. If you look at week 24, you can see a drastic decrease in our sales share for week 24. By looking at these two, I can easily tell that, oh, of course, our direct competitors increase the price. Now customers purchasing more from our product. That is what is behind that increase in share. So what happened after? Our client increased the price as well. You can see here. Our competitor decreased the price even lower than what they had before. So all of a sudden in this week 25, we jump back down. And of course, the reason is that now the price of this competitor is more appealing and our price is higher. But we continued our test with the higher price. Now you can see that our share starts going up. So what we realized here was that by increasing the price, we didn't decrease our sales share drastically, because in reality, our references here, right? This 1 week is different because the competitor increased the price. But comparing to prior period, I can see that, okay, with this increase in price, we are doing good. We are not losing market share. So let's keep the price there. This applies to every single A/B testing that you do with coupon codes, with titles. You can see what is happening to your click share, impression share, purchase share. And I go back to this for France that I mentioned. Here again, something happened that we start losing. I don't remember it. I guess again, another competitor had a coupon code or decreasing price that we start losing share. This view can give you signals that, okay, what is happening, all these changes that is happening to your product, what is the situation compared to the market? And if you are seeing you are losing your market drastically, there is something happening. You got to go investigate, and none of these numbers can give you exact reason for that. You have to go look at the market, look at Amazon, your competitors, or your ranking, or if you change anything with your product, those are the signals that you're looking for. Measuring the impact of advertising strategies. I covered this. You can see directly how by being on top of search for a keyword, my click share or impression share changing. And you can measure this in query level plus in account level. In the SUPA template that I have, the top row shows the aggregation of all these results on top. So you can see what is happening. If you are changing in a query level, go to query, see what happened. If you have a strategy in brand level, you can, in account level for the product, you can see overall what is happening plus the query level, and track the impression, click, and sales share. Measuring cannibalization in branded and unbranded keyword level. This is the very, very good subject. There are situations that your product is not top 4 organically. Sometimes we see client asking us, do I need to be on top of search? Do I need to have people run PPC on top of search? Well, we didn't know the answer. That was a matter of test. We didn't know the answer. But now with search query performance, you can cut down your spend or take down your top of search sponsored product for that. See how it impacts your click share and purchase share, right? Click share, 100% is going to go down because your product is not there. What happens to your sales share? If your sales share drastically goes down, it means that sponsored product that you had on top had a huge impact in creating sales for you. If you see the sales share is not changing much, it means you don't need to be there with a sponsored product. So it totally depends category to category, but you can do this test and do the test in single keyword. Don't try to all of a sudden go to your account and do for many keywords. Do one by one and see what happens. You can change test this for your branded keyword as well. Do you need to advertise your branded keywords? Are people not going to purchase from you if your ads are not there? Or maybe you can advertise your slow-moving product or new launches.
I think this is one of the most interesting tests to run, right? And it's a question that I've been asked probably for the past 5-6 years. It's like, hey, if I really rank number 1 organically, do I still need to run ads? And so I think here for the first time, there's a way to basically test it in a somewhat scientific way. Yeah? So I think this is really cool.
I see someone is asking what's cannibalization. Cannibalization means that you cause sales attribution to your advertising campaigns. The sales that regardless you should have got organically. For instance, if you are number 1 organically, customers when they search, they will purchase your product, right? And imagine you bring your sponsored product, your advertising on top as well. customers, instead of purchasing now the organic ASIN, the organically purchasing it, they click on the ad and they purchasing it. So you spend for that. But regardless, you would have got that purchase. It's kind of meaning of cannibalization, that you're getting a sales attribution, you're spending for sales that would have come organically. This is the last topic. Search query performance change how we track growth. So I would divide this to two sections: pre-search query performance, post-search query performance. At the moment, how most of the brands accounts, they are tracking their growth. They are looking at total revenue, tacos, organic sales, PPC sales. If the revenue goes up, it means they are growing. If it doesn't go up, they think that they are not growing. But there is a flaw to this. And here I'm going to talk about why tracking total sales can be misleading. There are market demand fluctuation in any niche. Sorry for this spelling. Tracking total revenue growth cannot show whether our growth is aligned with the demand trend or not. So as you can see here, there are so much fluctuations. For instance, here, the demand, this is from Growth Opportunity Explorer, that shows you the trend of the whole market, not one keyword. So here, the demand went down, right? It means your sales will go down. If you're looking at just total sales, you're going to freak out that, oh, why my sales going down? But in reality, the demand is going down. And by just tracking total sales, you cannot see that unless you do more investigation and realize that there is a decreasing demand. I have another example here from Growth Opportunity Explorer. We realized that from this week to the next week, there was a 16.5% increase in market demand. And this is our business report for our product. We saw increase 12% in total sales. If you're just looking at orders and total sales, you're going to be really happy that, wow, we had 12% increase on sales. But in reality, you lost market share because market grow more than 16%, you just grow 12%. So it means you are behind the market. In reality, you are not growing by the market. Another example here is the market. There was a market decline. I had numbers here. I don't see the numbers, but there was a decline in market. Our sales increased. If I'm just looking at sales and I'm not looking at this, I don't understand that I am doing something right that my sales are increasing. Maybe I'm doing a strategy that impacting this increase. Just not knowing that, you don't understand that whatever is happening is right. In reality, you should have gone down because the demand is going down, but you went up. So it means whatever you are doing is good. You got to continue doing that. I want to see how there is this disconnection between tracking total sales and orders by market demand. So what we do after search query performance is you can track impression share, click share, and sales share, because these numbers are relative, right? If your purchase share is 5%, no matter what the direction of market is, if 5% goes to 4%, it means you lost share. If it goes up, it means you gained share of the market. In reality, in ideal situation, you want to be constant or increase your market share. If there's anything except that, it means you're losing market share. My last point, don't try to do this for every single keyword, every single ASIN, because first for you is important to improve your organic ranking. If your product doesn't have a good organic ranking, if you're on page 2, 3, 4, before even looking at this, first go work on your product, make sure you're making it visible to main page, and then come to the search query performance. I mean, maybe it's not as useful as if you are really visible in the category. Then you want to dig into this report while you have more important tasks to do, and it is to push your product for just ranking for every single keyword. So that's it.
Awesome. That was great stuff. I guess, Franz, I think that could be a good transition to maybe spend 1 or 2 minutes talking about, how you've been thinking about Prism and exactly, you can't really look at all the words if you're doing it kind of manually, but how you think about how software might be able to help.
Sure. I mean, I think what Mansoor was just talking about in the last 5 minutes is kind of a core principle of Prism, right? Which is that you cannot assess your performance just by looking at your own sales. It depends on how you develop relative to your competitor sales, right? If you grow 20%, but everyone around you is growing 40%, then 20% growth is actually a bad performance, right? But if your sales decline by 10% while everyone else is dropping by 30%, then minus 10% is actually a reason to get a bonus if you work for a big company, right? So I think historically on Amazon, people have been very much looking at their own data, and so the whole concept that I have with Prism is basically to put your performance in the context of what's going on in the market around you. And so I think what Mansoor showed is one way to do it, to track it via sales and impression share. I think at Prism we rather look at it from a sales perspective, and we dive deep into the individual ASINs, so not just showing are you winning or losing market share, but also who are you losing it to if you're losing market share, right? To understand, okay, what are the reasons for it. So that's I think the core concept behind Prism, and so the also reason why I call it market aware advertising is because run ads being aware of what's going on in the market around you. So that's some context on Prism.
I want to add something here, Franz. That is right. In search query performance, the thing is that you see what is happening to your product, but you don't understand who is getting the market share. With Prism, actually, I'm working on the dashboard. I love it. But Prism, the good thing is that you see, okay, if you're losing this market share, who gained the market share? So you can easily kind of go see what that product is doing that caused that. So it makes it really easier and faster to analyze this.
And for those wondering, Prism is Perpetua's market share reporting functionality that Franz has been building out. So it isn't a closed beta, but you'll see a lot of the similar data that you see in SQP. But on top of that, as Mansoor just mentioned, the ability to not only see the markets down or markets up, but what players, what brands are contributing to that growth or decline. And then Ethan and Holland, Mansoor's his own dashboard is also available. He has a really great toolkit that you can download that allows you to just basically use that scraper that we posted before, fill in your own data, and get all of the views that he was showing in his deck. So we'll be able to send that out to you guys after, and you'll be able to sign up. Franz, maybe one for you here. I signed up for the Prism beta a month and a half ago. When is expected that we will get access?
Well, I have a long list of people that sign up, unfortunately, but I expect that people will get access very soon over the next couple of weeks. So probably before the end of January, you should hear from me. I see if I can reach out beforehand, Andrew. So I'll see if I can find you, and then I'll ping you. Okay.
Awesome.
And for those guys that have not signed up for the Prism private beta, I'm very happy to. I share the link here in a second.
And yes, Dare from FH Group. So yeah, the one thing about SQP is it's not available through the Amazon API, meaning it's very difficult to build automation around pulling in that report, displaying it for your brand. So to us, that means Amazon doesn't want us to basically automatically ingest that information just yet. And it's actually against their terms of service for us as a software company serving thousands of brands to scrape that data and put it into our data set. We would get in a lot of trouble. But yes, we are planning to do that. So that Prism beta I just mentioned is our own version of SQP, which again shows basically all of the same data points and allows our software to action things based on that data. So mark it up, mark it down. So if you're looking, you want to use Perpetua because it's AI and helps you save time and get results, definitely sign up for the Prism beta and you'll be impressed with what you see. Another one from Andrew. So I guess, Franz, does Prism Insights automatically help us do optimizations, or will it just give us insights into where we make our decisions?
So look, I think the goal for Prism is clearly to automate this, right? we've been working on this for a couple of months now, so it's early days of Prism, but over the next couple of months, you should definitely expect that you can take actions directly in Prism and automate this through the advertising engine within Perpetua. So the big advantage that we have is that Prism is built natively inside of Perpetua. So it's not a separate tool; it's part of the Perpetua suite, and we can connect it directly with your goals, custom goals, classic goals, whatever it is that you're using, and so you can drive your actions there.
Awesome. Any more last minute questions here? I know we're just over time, but thank you, Mansur. That was very eye-opening. Amazing data, amazing case studies as always. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And Franz, I think there's a lot of excitement around Prism now. So maybe slowly begin to open the list up one by one. So you get a spot. You'll get to work with Franz and get some of this great data.
All right. Thank you all. Yeah.
Later.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Patrick. Bye-bye.